This is Beyond Take Two podcast, brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival.
Yes.
I am your host, Madge.
And I am your host, Veronica.
And today we have another special guest with us. He is a director, producer, stand-up comedian. Hey, you didn't think I was going to bring that out, did you?
You're digging back old stuff. Okay.
In
all right. I see how this is going to go. All right. All right. We can play. We're good.
In the building with us.
Oh my gosh.
Hollywood Reporter's top 10 director under 40.
Under 40, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? I mean, this man has all the accolades.
All of them.
Mr. David Rountree is in the building.
Thank you. That was the introduction. I wasn't.
Hey, man. We try to treat our guests right, man. How you doing today, David?
I'm doing great. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's so, I haven't seen you for so long.
I know. If that's the first thing I said, you look the exact same, but it's been a couple years, so
it's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, David and Veronica are old friends, and
I did acting classes.
yeah, he's a full-time acting coach.
Full-time acting coach.
So all you actors out there who need to get your skills up, which are a lot of you, you need to call this man. You need to
LA
call this
Acting
man.
Studios.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
I appreciate the shout out. Thank you.
Man, definitely. So before we get started,
We have to.
we got to start off with our buttered up section. I gotta call it buttered up section. Buttered up segment, where we try a different popcorn every week. We rate them 1 through 10. Today we have Safe and Fair birthday cake kettle corn
Yes.
popcorn. Never heard of the company before, but I found them at Target.
Okay.
And we're going to try them out and see what it do. So,
All right. Let's have David, our special guest, try it first.
So I got to go first?
Yes, you got to go first.
All right. What is it again? What kind?
it is birthday cake kettle corn.
Okay. I see the colors. It's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. We'll see. Do I pass it on?
Is it good?
Pass it on.
It is good. It's got a little like Lucky Charms feel to it a little. Like you definitely taste the birthday cake. It's good.
Okay.
Very sweet.
What do you rate it?
1 through 10.
What am I comparing it to? Regular popcorn?
Yeah.
I like it. I like sweet things. So
Me too.
I give it a pretty good rating on that. I'd bank it up there pretty high.
1 through 10.
I'd probably give it an 8. I don't know what I'm comparing
An
it
8?
to really,
Okay.
but it's enough that where I would definitely eat it
Okay.
for sure.
Let's see.
That's really sweet. I think I'm
very
going to
sweet.
give it a 7. Yeah.
And if you had a birthday party for like the kids or something,
Yeah.
I would eat that up.
Oh yeah.
That'd
That
nice.
would be great.
That's good.
Or if you
I'd,
know
I'd eat that better than cake. Regular
if your
cake.
daughter wins the basketball championship,
I know.
you can
Have some birthday
put some birthday popcorn,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, that's so right.
That's good.
That one's sweet.
It's
That's pretty good. You did a good choice this time, Ash.
First of all,
good.
I always pick good popcorn. It's pretty good. I will give it 6.57.
Oh my gosh, you're so tough.
You got very specific with that rating.
Yeah,
you did.
5.7. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I love sugary everything, so I'm comparing it to all the sugary popcorn that I've had in my life. So
I don't know if I've ever had sugary popcorn. I've had kettle corn and stuff, but
Yeah.
like caramel popcorn though,
Yeah,
or like
okay.
Popcornopolis.
Like last week, we had a caramel and cheese.
That's
It
interesting.
was so
Well,
good.
it's a caramel and cheese mix, like Chicago mix.
Yeah.
So you got caramel popcorn, cheese popcorn, and it was her first time having it. I have it all the time.
Yeah.
It was her first time having it.
It was
so
good. It was one of my favorites.
She loved it.
That's cool. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, but all right, let's get started.
Yeah.
So, how are you, David? Tell us what have you been up to?
I'm okay. I'm doing well. Been very busy. We've had a lot of crazy things, good and bad, happen over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of sad I couldn't bring my A shoe game today. I know we always talk shoes, so I got my kind of regulars on today. These are a
Those are
gift.
fresh.
They're okay. I got my Ric Flair socks on though.
I like
those
them.
socks are
Yes.
I got my Ric Flairs on.
See, you know what? I kept it real chill today. I just had some Chucks on, you know.
I like it.
She be trying to do it every week.
I know.
Every week her shoes are a topic of discussion.
I know, and I always comment on her shoes. I like them. A year ago, my house burned down. and I lost my
Holy
entire shoe
crap.
collection.
Are
I
you
know.
serious,
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, not many people know it. We don't talk about it much, but it's
Yeah.
February 10th, so really just right at a year ago.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was in the house working. I was on a Zoom meeting with an actor, actually, and power went out, just cut
Oh
out.
my gosh.
I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Right.
So I started messing, like, hold on, my power cut out. Let me get it back up, figure out what's going on. I'll resume you. And walk in the living room, and there's like smoke up in the ceiling. I'm like, what's going on? That's
Right.
weird. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Walked outside, and we had some guys earlier doing some construction, but they had a ladder. So I walked up on the roof, and I look, and they're gone, but there's flames in my roof. And I'm like, what are those guys doing? Doesn't make any sense.
That's crazy.
It didn't process to me in that moment that my roof was on fire.
Right.
I'm like, what kind of
Yeah.
construction are they trying to do up here?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But they weren't even there. So then I realized, like, oh man, my house is on fire. So I go running back downstairs. I was the only one home at the time.
Yeah.
I get my phone call 911.
Well, thank God you were the only one home, though.
I know. My daughter was at school, so that was
Yeah.
good. But I go up, I grab a towel, and I'm trying to like fight the fire best I can. I'm thinking it's just on the surface of the roof. And next thing I know, smoke is coming out from like every orifice in my attic and my ceiling and going everything
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
My neighbor comes running over, and he's former LAPD. And he's like, "Get off of the roof! It's going to collapse."
Yeah.
Flames are everywhere at this point. And he hands me the garden hose. I'm trying to like put it in every hole in my attic where flames are just flying through. And
Crazy.
firefighters came. It was probably about 3 minutes, but it seemed like 10 when they got there. But when they got there, they come up there and they basically forced me off the roof at that point. And
So you're still on the roof.
I'm still on the roof fighting it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, dude.
Because that's your house.
My house,
Like, you
I
don't
know.
want to let your house go, right?
No way.
It's like,
I'm still like I'm barefoot too because I was inside working. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about it. So so firefighters bring me down, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Citizens app. The Citizens app it's an app where you can, if something happens, there's a car crash or something going on, somebody's running down the street, running from the cops. The Citizens app, they can post events.
Okay.
I guess somebody posted a
crazy.
video of me up there saying some crazy guy's on his roof like fighting the fire. I want to get the video. I haven't seen it. But firefighters brought me down, and I'm down in my driveway, and they bring a pair of shoes for me to put on. Like, put shoes on because embers are falling and everything like that. And I didn't realize that my feet were all burned up from being on the roof.
Right.
With the adrenaline going, I didn't
Exactly.
Feel it.
It was a mess, but they finally got the fire out. The whole house wasn't burned down, but the inside was all. We lost every
my
single thing.
gosh.
Wow.
Everything was gone.
So was it a blown out circuit? Like, what was
It was an
that?
electrical fire that happened
Okay.
kind of above the attic, and we don't really know how. We don't know what. The arson investigator came for insurance purposes and looked and making sure no one set a fire,
Right.
which it wasn't. We have no idea. But the only thing we can speculate was we had a big oak tree in the backyard fall about 2 weeks earlier, and when the oak tree fell, the only thing we can think of is maybe the roots of it pushed
Right.
up against the bottom of the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Foundation, it might have pushed a wall. We don't know. No idea.
That's
Yeah.
tough, man.
That's
No.
terrible.
So, long side of it, I don't have all my shoes anymore.
Yeah, but you know, those are just materialistic things,
you got
honestly.
your life.
And you can always get them back.
Yeah, I know.
You can always and get the ones that you really like. You know, like
I had the ones I really like.
like the ones you really like. You don't have to
had
have so
'em.
many shoes.
He's like, that's all of them though in the house.
Right? But it did put things in perspective too, because now
Yeah.
since then, I don't really own anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it was a good lesson for my daughter also that material
Right.
things don't really matter.
Matter.
You know, because we started really analyzing it. We were collecting a bunch of just garbage
Things,
and crap.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like we got this little knickknack that look cool. We have this, we have this.
Right.
Don't need it.
But you know what? The beautiful thing is like you can collect it, you can have it, and you can enjoy it while you have it there. But that's good that you don't have that crazy connection to where like you're gonna lose yourself or it's the end of the world if it's not there anymore. You know what I mean? So it's good to have it. It's fun, but then if you don't have it, it is what it is.
It is
you
what
know,
it is.
and you move on.
Now, I do have to ask, like, what was your shoe collection?
You're nosy.
I'm just asking.
He had heat.
I bet he did have some heat.
I had heat. So I'm not gonna put a monetary value on
Okay.
it, but I had the Chunky Dunks on display, and the flames dropped right on top of them, and it had the actual like ice cream box, everything.
Wow.
That was one of them in the collection,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, I wore those things out once, and I was so worried about wearing them out, I didn't put them on until I got in the building where I was. Like it was like, you know what I mean? If you're gonna drop money on shoes like that,
Right.
But nah,
Oh my God. You
as
guys
soon
are
as I was
crazy
done,
when
took
it
them back
comes to
off.
shoes.
You know, yeah, I know.
Do you guys have a thing? Do you guys have a thing with wearing like nice sneakers while you're driving? Like, do you wait to put them on until after you're done?
I did in that case.
Okay.
I didn't put them on while I was driving because I didn't want to walk outside with them.
Oh my gosh.
But now I'm looking back like, that was kind of silly.
You guys are crazy.
I mean, I don't. I'm not a big. Like I've just now kind of gotten into like Air Maxes. Like I really like Air Maxes.
Right.
I've never worn them before.
Yeah.
But like the past like year and a half, I've gotten like 4 pair. I'm just like, I like these.
Yeah.
Like, these are cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
But I've never like been like, oh, I need the Jordans or I need these.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've never been like a sneakerhead like
Right.
that. So it's just like they're shoes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I have one of my actors actually gave me these as a gift, which is cool. 'Cause
Aw.
I have big feet. I got size 14, so it's hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
find shoes as it is.
And they're
So-
15 right here.
Yeah, it's hard, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes you'll find discount because no one will buy them.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
Dude,
we got these giant shoes no one can
Look,
buy.
I got these at the Nike store in Torrance. $80.
That's great. That's great.
$80.
Yeah.
I sent them to the lady. She's like, "You found these
Yep.
in your size
Yeah.
for this price?"
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, these are nice."
That was a steal.
Yeah, I was like, man.
So I have these now and that's it.
I like them.
That's it. They
Yeah.
work.
And they're like basketball shoes too. Like
Yeah,
wear them in the
I can
gym.
work out. I can.
Yeah, I like
can
'em.
Wear them to set. I can wear them wherever, and
I love them.
to go with everything. The black, with the
Yeah.
red. The red may not, but you know, for
Yeah.
the most part, it works.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right.
Nice.
So tell us about this comedy.
That was like 20 years
I'm
ago.
so sorry, David.
Man.
I was like we were digging deep. I was like,
know,
I
right?
want to know something cool. Like, what else has he done? And I'm like,
Man.
look it, he did improv. I'm like, you were really good. That's
funny.
You were so good.
That's fine. I got talked into it. So one of my good friends, David Banks, who David and I have done. He's an actor, really great actor, and I've cast David in like 13 projects for film stuff over the career. So he did stand up comedy all the time, and so a lot of comics, they do shows where they ask them to bring friends to the shows.
right,
So
right.
Yeah.
So I went to one of his shows one time, and after he was done, he introduced me to the producer, and he said, "Hey man, this is my buddy David Rountree." And I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." "Oh, are you a comic too?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's a great." I had never done it in my life, but he was just messing with me, right?
Right.
And I was an actor at the time, so I was
Right.
in acting class with him. I'd done comedy scenes, but never. Man, he's great. Oh, that's so great. I had a comic bail on Friday night. Can you come do an 11-minute set? And he goes, "Yeah, he'll do it." And I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
He was that kind of friend.
Yeah, he was that kind of friend.
Hilarious.
We're still friends today, but
Yeah.
But I had to go find like material. He helped me write it, and I went up there, and so very first time was at it was the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store. I think my very first time.
Okay.
And I went up there, and it wasn't good, but I got some laughs, and the guy was like,
right.
"That wasn't bad. I got another show coming up next week," and so I started doing it.
At the improv, right?
I did the improv, yeah. And what's kind of funny is I ended up working because one of the bits I talked about, I did a Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah, that's the one that we saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was kind
good.
of in my routine. Well, years later, I was teaching film, and one of my film students is Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold's kid. I taught Patrick and Chris.
That is
both
so
of them.
cool.
And so word got out that my stand-up had leaked. And Patrick saw your stand-up, and I'm going, "Oh my God." I'm ragging on his dad, and Patrick walks up to me straight faced, and he just looks at me and he goes, "That shit was funny, bro." I was like, "All right, get down,
That's
come on."
hilarious. Yeah.
I'm coming.
Say that I'm coming. Yeah.
Does he have an accent just like his dad?
No,
No?
he's
Oh, he
fine.
doesn't?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
fine. Nice guy though.
Yeah.
He's a big actor now too, so he's done a lot of acting.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I have to check him out.
Yeah.
How long did you do the stand up for? Was it just like a short
years.
bit?
2 years.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay, nice.
Almost every week for 2 years.
Wow.
It was so natural. Like, you're really good at everything you do.
I thought
Oh, I appreciate
you
that.
were
Yeah,
like
seriously.
I thought you were Nick Lachey when you first came out.
Oh
Like
my
you look like a
goodness.
Backstreet Boy or a 98 Degrees
Nick
or
Lachey
something.
is 98 degrees.
That's funny.
Like
all
the baggy pants and the, you know what I'm saying? Like
Back in the day.
clean face. You know what I'm saying?
That's
No
old
beard.
school back in the
That
day
old
though.
Yeah, that was funny. Nah, that's dope though. That's dope. So you did
Yeah.
comedy for 2
It was
years.
about 2 years, and it wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I enjoyed it. And the reason I started, it scared me. And at that point, I thought that because I was an athlete my entire life,
Right.
and so you get that adrenaline going before a game, you get the
Yeah.
nerves going. And what I was doing with other stuff in my life, I felt like I wasn't having that. So doing something like this that I knew I wasn't the best.
Right.
So it made me I always wanted to do better and better. So it made me nervous, and I kind of like that feeling.
Right.
You show up on game day when you're an athlete, and
Yeah.
those nerves kick in, like, okay, here it comes. And I wasn't getting that with anything else in my life at that point. So
Right.
stand-up kind of brought that back out.
Yeah. And what kind of athlete were you? Did you play football, basketball?
I did. I actually played 3 sports in college.
Wow.
I was a Division I athlete. I did
Nice.
football, baseball, and I was a swimmer. And then I was drafted professionally in football.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you get drafted by?
I got drafted in the RFL, which is the Regional Football League by Buffalo.
Okay.
This is back when the RFL started, which was meant to be a minor league program to the NFL squad. And we had one season. That's when the original XFL started. The Vince McMahon started XFL back in the day. So when XFL started, then our league collapsed, and then I was out of a job.
Really?
So I bounced around. I went to mini camp with the Washington Redskins. I was a kicker.
Okay.
That is so cool.
I got mixed up in that, and I didn't make their final roster. And I went back to NC State, which is where I played. I was in college, and I started coaching. And I met someone who it was a girlfriend of a guy I was coaching, and she worked in an acting school. She
Interesting.
said, "Have you ever tried acting?" And I said,
Oh my gosh.
I did it for 2 years in college, my first 2 years, because I had a crush on the girl that ran the theater department. I was like,
That's the reason to do it.
This
She
whole
ran it.
connection, right?
know.
This whole network. It's
I was like, I know nothing about acting, but if she's running the department, I'm in.
I'm
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Every day.
Whatever she's doing, I'm
Every
doing.
day.
So yeah. So that was the beginning of my acting career. And I started at the acting school, and I met my manager who was in LA who repped a lot of athletes.
Okay.
And that was my end to come to LA.
Oh my gosh.
So I came out here, I started working as an actor, and then I transitioned to directing pretty early in my career. And I directed my first feature in 2005.
Okay.
So since then, it's been 6 feature films. Since then, I'm doing a new TV show right now.
Awesome.
So staying busy.
Hey man, that's the way to do it. That's how
Yes.
you stay paid.
And my daughter now's 11, and she's a series regular on the show. She's been a series regular on Home Economics on ABC. For the
Yes,
last 6
Chloe
years.
Joe. I was just going to ask you about that. That is so amazing. And then you have your wife too.
Yep.
That was a series regular on Jane the Virgin.
She was a recurring regular on Jane the Virgin. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
she was.
gosh.
She played. So Jane's best friend really on the show is her grandmother, and so the
Right.
grandmother would sit down with Jane and say, "When I was your age,"
Yes.
and then they do flashbacks.
So it'd be like Little Alba, right?
Alba. So
yeah.
my wife played all the flashbacks. So for the entire series, every time they flash back when the grandma was telling stories,
Right.
that was my wife. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
That is amazing.
And she worked with Jenna Ortega, who's now Wednesday Addams, because Jenna, I think, played Jane as a young kid. So
Yeah.
they flash back
Right,
together.
That's right.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's awesome.
It's
man.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is like you're a football coach for special teams at LA Valley College.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
you do it all. Like how do you do this? You are a full-time acting coach. You are a full-time director, producer, owner, father, husband. Like how does this?
I don't
how
sleep.
do you do it?
I
You don't sleep?
much, hardly ever.
That's what Kevin
Get
Hart
about
says.
2-3 hours a night.
I guess I have
Yeah.
to not sleep to be very, very, very successful, right?
Maybe I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing. I'll nap during the day if I get a chance, but I get up pretty early and I go to bed late. And I mean, it has its benefits and its drawbacks at the same time. But with the special teams, because I was a kicker, I had a real bad neck injury back in 2006. I was injured on the job and I had to have spine surgery. My spine fused together.
Oh,
year.
wow.
So, but I was getting physical therapy at a chiropractor and acupuncture and things. And so my acupuncturist said, "Hey, one of my other patients, he's got a kid who's a kicker. If you're ever interested, I could exchange numbers and you could talk with them." I said, "Yeah, sure." So I gave him my number and I passed it on. And I met with the guy, and his son has autism.
Okay.
But he was trying to be a field goal kicker. So I went out and I started working with this kid once a
Oh
week.
my gosh.
And we did it for about 3 years. And he ended up becoming the starting kicker at San Fernando High School. His name's Alec Messing.
Oh
and
my goodness.
kicked the game-winning field goal for them to win the city championship.
Dope.
So after that, we're trying to find him a place to go play in college.
Yeah.
And we got some love from the special teams coach at LA Valley College at the time, who said, "We'd love to have Alec." So Alec was on board. He now is going to be a college kicker, goes to LA Valley to kick. Well, when he showed up over there, special teams coach had quit. So
And then he's like,
wasn't
I want
there anymore.
David.
So Lester Towns is the head coach at LA Valley College, and Lester played for the Carolina Panthers during their Super Bowl years. He coached under, he was assistant coach with Nick Saban at Alabama.
Okay.
So his football credentials are insane.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Right.
So the father went to Coach Towns and goes, "Hey, I know he's not a coach on your staff, but he's been working with my kid. Would it be okay if he still worked with them at least once a week?"
Wow.
Maybe came out to practice, maybe after practice, something. And so Coach Towns said, "Let me get his number and call him." So that day, coach is like, we need a kicking coach. We need a special teams coach.
Wow.
So I came on to help Alec for the season, just
Okay.
thinking it was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I've been there 4 years.
Oh my gosh. And how could they not want you on their staff? You know what I mean? And then, and it's amazing. Like he had autism too.
Right.
So that's like a big deal. Like
Yeah.
that's amazing.
His journey's been incredible.
Yeah.
And we're actually working in development and getting that into a feature film, which is really cool because
Nice.
no one wanted to give him a chance because his special needs is autism and people didn't understand it, especially when he was first getting started.
Yeah.
And to actually get a spot, he went to a different high school, he went to a special needs high school.
Mm-hmm.
But his home school would have been San Fernando if he actually went to the regular
Right,
school.
right.
His school doesn't have a football team. So
Right.
they had to petition and get it where he could actually go play for San Fernando, which
Yeah.
he did. And to work his way up to actually kick the game-winning field goal for them to win the city championship, it's a great story. And
That's awesome.
and then since he came to LA Valley, the week one, he was my special teams player of the week, and he got to go out for the opening coin toss of his first ever game.
Awesome.
Which is cool.
Awesome.
So great story, great family.
So
That's
the
amazing.
story is it going to be like about like his process through middle school up until high school?
It's kind of like Rudy, if you watch the movie,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it's going to start with him really, really young, kind of in the beginning, and then at that point, it's his journey. It's going to jump forward to where he's heading into high school because his first year on the team, he didn't play. Like he was out there and he was just standing there at practice. All they didn't know what to do with him. I wasn't out there. Because I still help him once a week.
Right.
So he would just stand there. His little sister would go out there and try to like make things happen for him, which is really cool.
Wow.
And he didn't play. He didn't start his first year, and he just kind of sat the bench. And he finally got a couple kicks toward the end of the season, and he made everything he did, which is great. And then his senior year, he went back and he became the starting kicker, and he was top. I want to say top 5 in all of California in scoring.
Really?
All players, which is great. It's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story.
Great kid,
It
great
is.
story.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
So I don't want to give that up. I like that side of being able to still coach and work with
Yeah.
kids.
Right.
That's still a part of you and something that you still love to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
No, so then let's talk about like your time management. Like, how do you prioritize everything? Because I mean, you run an acting school. You're a director. Do you write scripts as well? So I mean, you writing scripts. I'm pretty sure you're working on like getting money for your films and all that great stuff. Like, how do you prioritize these things? And like, what's like your time management like?
It is tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And I think I try to balance my day out where I can still spend time with my daughter, hang out with her and do things, which I'm still trying to figure out how to even do that more.
Right.
This past weekend, took her to Mount Baldy so she could see. She's never seen snow, so I wanted to go see snow and do that. But trying to balance that out. It's not, I mean, nothing in this business is easy.
Right.
I mean, nothing is easy. Trying to put something together. As you go through, and I've been lucky and made some things happen, which is good. But I'm always still looking to keep up in what I do and balancing out, trying to surround myself around good people who I can delegate things to that I trust.
Right.
And I have trust issues. I've been burned on many things before in the past. People came back and said, "I got all the money for your film. We're ready to go." And then we show up ready to shoot, and they're like, "Yeah, that investor backed out." I'm like, "Wait a minute." My very first feature we had all the money set. Like, it was locked. So I was told by my executive producer. We flew everybody out to North Carolina to shoot.
Oh wow.
We are in North Carolina in the middle of the summer, and 2 days before we're ready to start shooting, my EP goes, "Oh yeah, that woman who was going to put the money in." I'm like, "You mean who already put the money in, right?" No, who was going to put? Well, you said it was in the bank. Well, it was. She pulled it out. She says no.
That's a nightmare.
So we lost everything right before we started shooting, and I'm like, I had to take a second mortgage on my house. I had to start just to kind of find until I found another person to come in. But at that point, we're halfway through the film, but I had to finance the first half myself. So you learn as you go. It's always a grind.
Oh my God.
That film was a disaster, start to finish, but it got done. One after that was a little better.
Yeah.
Made 10,000 mistakes on my first one. The next film made less mistakes, but made bigger mistakes.
Right.
But each one you learn as you go, and you start figuring out who you can trust and say, "Okay, cool. I know you're great at this. You can do this."
Right.
Cool. And my goal is to be able to blindly trust somebody to say, "Cool, it's yours," and I'm walking away.
Right.
And I'm still working on getting there in some places, but it's starting to be there.
That's good. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have like who's a part of your production team? Like when you're thinking about a script, like who do you go to, and like what's the process like?
Well, I'm in development right now on a new TV series that I have a co-producer. We can't really go into much about what's going on yet, but the idea is he's somebody I've known forever. And it's relationships that started a long time ago. Way before either of us even knew we were in the business. Like it started way before that. And then on something like that, it's a real relationship, and it's not about trying to take advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good. And it's the funny thing is several of my relationships for films that started that way, where I meet people outside of the industry and we have a relationship first, and then later on it's like, well, what do you do? I do this. What do you do? I do this. That's interesting. We're like in the same thing. We could work together, but we've already established that friendship.
Exactly.
And I think that's important. You know,
Yeah.
if you meet somebody it's kind of like if you go, an actor's trying to get an agent, right? They know when they go to the agent's like, all right, you want me to rep you.
Right.
Yeah.
They know that. It's like,
Right.
I want to get something from you. I want to get. And if
Exactly.
it's that relationship, it's
Yeah.
hard to jump into something where the other person just wants to get from you.
Right.
When you aren't in that kind of relationship, it works better because it's a
Right.
give. And
Yeah.
then you're like, we can collaborate and work together.
Right.
I think that's one of the hardest things for actors. They come
Yeah.
to me, how do you get reps? How do you get reps? And
Right.
you got to look at it's a give and take. What can you give?
Yeah, you have to build those relationships outside of that because
yeah.
right away someone thinks you're taking advantage,
Totally.
or it's like, I know why you're either dating me or we're friends or whatever. So
Right.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Absolutely. And
It's
and
difficult.
especially in this town because there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Matt.
It's just, it's pretty much like having to watch your back all the time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like watching the people that come around
It is.
you.
It
and-
is.
Which is also when you go into casting. I've cast some of the same people over. I mentioned David Banks earlier.
Yeah.
Alan Maldonado, who is Alan. Alan's a star of Sneakerheads, opposite Jernes, you had last
Yes.
week, right?
Yeah.
That's how I
Yes.
met Jernes through Alan.
Yeah.
Alan was opposite Denzel on The Equalizer.
Yeah.
Alan is one of the stars of the show Heels right now on Showtime. Alan's been in the
Doing
game
big things.
forever. Yeah, but I knew Alan back really before he had any credits.
Yeah.
So we had a friendship way before anything. So whenever Alan needed something, I was there for him. He was
Yeah.
producing stuff. He's like, hey, man, I need an actor. I'm like, I'm in, dude.
Yeah.
When I did films, he was the same way. Alan, I got a film. I'm in. I didn't even tell you what it's about, man.
That was about, right,
It don't matter.
right.
If you're asking me, I'm down.
I'm there.
Because
You're my guy.
yeah, you're my
Right,
guy.
right.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about money. I know you're not going to cheat me. It's cool. And that's the thing, is relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hire somebody that I can trust because it's a relationship like that as opposed to somebody just trying to get something,
Yeah.
you know?
I hear that, man.
So
That's dope.
it's fun. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's dope. So how's the acting school going?
It's going well. It's fun. It's LA Acting Studios. So
One of my favorite
Thank you,
acting
thank you,
studios,
thank you.
by the way.
can't wait to get you back over there and see some of the new sets.
Yeah, it's just like phase 1, phase 2. That's where I got a lot of my, on-camera experience and even what you would call it, scene breakdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
understanding storytelling. 'Cause-
oh my God, you're so good at it.
Thank you. And that's the thing. So most actors think it's just about being believable when it's really not. You got to, one, it's a business. So we tell stories for the audience.
Right.
So as an actor, you got to understand not just being believable. I mean, that's important, but you got to tell the best story possible to get the audience roped in.
Mm-hmm.
So really kind of breaking it down for the actors to see this is, as a writer, as a director, these are the stories we're trying to tell. How can we best tell it? So we created the space where actors actually work on real sets with real camera. It's like you come to work every day when you're coming to the class. It's not like you're
Really?
on an open stage with bare minimum furniture.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. So
Because that's exactly what I thought about when
yeah,
you
it has nothing to do with that. And that's the thing. So I took almost every acting class in town when I was an actor back in the day, and I got something everywhere I went. I'll never tell actors don't study other places. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're going to learn wherever you go.
Right.
One of the biggest things that the classes out here that I found were they're more theater based, not intentionally, but they're more theater based. They're open stage, bare minimum furniture. Actors are allowed to come and go as they please. They can just be raw and be this. But in reality, for film and TV, we're telling stories inside boxes,
Yeah.
inside little camera windows, and you have to learn how to play inside those windows so we can
Yes.
actually tell the story. You're
Yes.
held accountable for continuity. You got to match your moves. You're held accountable for audio. We know audio. I can't be banging sounds right over my dialogue.
Right.
And teaching the actors all this where they get to play on real sets. So every
Right.
month is different sets, it's different stories, and they get to come watch and they get to watch their footage after and be like,
Yeah.
"Yep, I see why that didn't work."
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a fun place. And the fourth week of every month, actors, the scene is fully filmed with a full crew. So full sound team, full camera crews, everything. Every week's filmed.
Right.
But the last week we bring in the sound guides and everything.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
a lot of the actors,
It's like a whole production.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the actors use it for demo reel footage. It's not a demo reel class, but
Right.
footage looks like it came out of a real film.
Yeah.
That's dope.
We run it the same way. So that's the idea. I thought that'd be really beneficial.
So is it like a continuous thing, or you have like
4 weeks at a time.
4 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Different
you have a new
phases.
class every month, pretty much.
Everything's different. So everybody starts in phase 1, no matter who you are.
Okay.
We've had 8 actors become series regulars in the last 2 years, which is great.
Dope.
2 have become series leads, like the show's about them, which is really cool.
Dope.
So phase 1, everybody starts there, and it's 4 weeks. So every 4 weeks, it's a different phase one, different classes. Once you're okay in phase one, you understand the technical side of everything, then you get the invite to phase two, which is where we teach comedy.
Yeah.
Not stand up. I'm done with that. But
Let's make that clear.
those days are done. But we teach comedy for the first 2 weeks. The third week's the dramatic scene. Then we have our upper level classes, the advanced class and the master class, and they get different scenes, different genres every week as they come up. So it's we had like last week they did a very heavy domestic violence scene in the master class. It was really, really tough. They did one that was involved. We had a car crash they had to deal with. We had visual effects they had to play. Then they do multicam sitcom some weeks. It's just all a mix of the upper level classes, which is fun.
Oh wow! Yeah. So how long do people usually like go through the process of like going through your classes?
It depends. So most people stay in phase one 2 to 3 months, maybe 6. It just depends. Some actors.
Yeah.
We have actors who are in the advanced class who still take phase one at the same time.
Okay.
Because phase one really is the understanding the storytelling side of it and the technical side. So they might get the invite up, but they still stay.
That's why I was like telling you I want to do phase one again because I stood in phase two twice. So I did phase one and then I did phase two twice. And it just builds you. You know what I mean? So it's something new every time you go in the class.
It reinforces all the
reinforces.
things. You have to get that muscle memory out of understanding some of the technical sides of things.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure for you, I mean, you get to see like you get the pick of the litter, and you know when you're making movies and everything, you have a plethora of actors to choose from and everything.
It's fun. You're always trying to get the best actors you can. My last 2 films I did were in theaters, so it was really, really cool to see that. You know, my last film had a Golden Globe winning actor in it, an Oscar nominated actor, and 2 Emmy Award winning actors in it.
Wow.
So getting that level of talent is fun working with them, but I also bring on new actors who haven't done anything as long as I can trust them on set.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it helps, and so we've brought some actors right out of our studio for things and put them in films and projects. And
Yeah, you even sent me some stuff for Downside of Bliss.
You work with Jake Kotowski.
Yes, for Noche del Infierno.
Which turned out great.
It was amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Jake was my co-producer on my baseball movie I did.
Yes.
Which is great. Jake's an up-and-coming producer and really done some good work.
Love
so
Jake.
he was casting, and I was like, I got somebody, here you go.
Yeah.
And just by saying, hey, check out Veronica, she's a great actor, she
Yeah.
fits it. Jake doesn't even need to audition or see her because it's relationships.
Just
He
called
says,
me in. Yeah.
He's like, well, if you say she's good, I don't need to, she's good, we're good.
Right.
And that's this town's a lot of relationships like
Yeah.
that. You know,
Exactly.
and you did great in the movie. By
Thank
the way.
you. Thank you. But yes, to all my acting friends, make sure you check out LA Acting Studios with David Rountree. He's amazing.
Now, where's the studio located?
North Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
Right on
okay.
the corner of Burbank Boulevard and Cahuenga.
Okay. Awesome.
And but we have so basically when you're in the actors are in there working, we have a 25-seat movie theater that actors can sit and watch everything on the big movie screen as it's going down. So they'll get to watch when other scenes are going up. They can watch and be like, oh, I get it. I see why. I see why he said I can't do that
Yeah.
now. It makes sense.
Right.
So training them on the technical side so
Yep.
they can really do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to us. I mean, because you do make feature films. Talk to us about like distribution, like, and you know how you handle the films that you create and how you put them out, and you know what's the process like with that.
Distribution is always different depending on what you're doing. I have a movie right now. I did a movie called Cut that was in theaters. And we had a distributor who helped us with the theatrical release first, which is great. That was Freestyle Releasing. And again, it's relationships. The distributor, I knew before I even knew he was a distributor. He knew me before he knew I was a director. And over time, we got a film. He's like, well, I'd love to take a look at it. That opened the door and we got distribution on it.
Wow.
So we ended up with that. Cut's actually now in theaters in India at the moment, which is cool, from Bollywood.
Nice.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
It was supposed to go right before COVID hit, and that killed all the theaters. So now that it's ended, they're back in movies again. So now the movie's over there playing, which is cool.
Nice.
Our other one, Freestyle Releasing, did that one too. That was in theaters all across the country. It's 108 Stitches, where Jake and I work together. And Jake, I've known Jake for a while. I taught Jake film back when he was younger.
Did he take your classes?
Not as an actor,
Okay.
but we started working together. He was one of my film students, my film production guys.
Okay.
And he came on and worked as an intern on several commercials that I directed first, and then started working in some short films that I was doing. And then he came on and I did a Cut, and he became a PA on Cut, production assistant. But he was so driven with everything he did. And then we started working together and ended up co-producing a feature together after that.
Wow, Jake. That's great.
Jake's one of my favorites. I feel like I've known him since he was a little baby. It's not, obviously haven't, but but he was such a little kid. Then he went to the Peter Stark USC producer program.
Nice.
After that, graduated from Wesleyan College. But even when we did 108 Stitches, we're editing. He's all the way on the East Coast. I'm out here, and we're editing back and forth. Working together. And
Nice.
But it's the relationship.
Yeah, it's the building of the relationships.
It is.
Exactly. That's what it's all about in this
And
industry.
then I met you, and then let Jake know about you, and then
Yeah.
you got the movie. And
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. And it's won many awards.
It has. It's terrific. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. So also I wanted to talk to you about you being on Pearl Harbor. Like, what's up with that?
Digging deep. Yeah, if you blink, you'll miss me on that. So there's some funny stories of that. So I worked 7 days in Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
We shot out in Camarillo.
Okay.
And so that's where I really first time got to work with some like big movie stars. Like really see. I remember my first day. I'm sitting out there and then walking up the sidewalk. It's Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett, and they're just walking up, and I'm like, there's not security around them or anything. And it was a weird thing because I was like, they're just right there in the open.
Right.
And I remember going to the bathroom, and I was in an acting class at the time, and I'd done some scenes from Good Will Hunting in my class.
Yeah.
And I go to the bathroom, and Ben and I are both like waiting in line to use the urinal. And I turned, and I'm like, hey. I said, hey, I'm David Rountree. He goes, hey, I'm Ben. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're Ben Affleck. He's like, I'm Ben. And it just didn't sound right because he's like, he made it so like he's a real dude.
Right,
And it put
right.
things in perspective. I said, I've done some of your scenes from Good Will Hunting in my class. He goes, really? Which ones? And I told him, he goes, hell, you probably did it better than I did it. And I was like, the humbleness that came from him. I got so much respect for him in that moment.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, he's just like a real guy.
Good person.
It was really, really cool. And then I think that's what started my desire to direct, because Michael Bay directed Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
So for 7 days, I'm sitting out there, and first day it was fun. I was learning how things go. It was my first big studio film, and I got a little tiny part as an actor, like no part at all, really.
Right.
And so they're blocking this one scene, and Michael Bay's over there working, and I'm coming in close. I'm watching. I'm sitting in this like actor chair, I hop up on the chair because the monitor is a great view. The monitor's right there. I'm watching it like that. Next thing I know, this looming person is standing over me. It's Michael Bay.
Wow.
And I turn and he says, when you direct a movie, Mr. Roundtree, you can sit in whatever chair you want. But until that point, please get out of my chair. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm sitting in Michael Bay's chair.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go home. I thought I was
like,
gonna
this
be
is my
fired.
last day.
That's a wrap.
Just walk off set.
Yeah, I was like,
Sorry,
that's
everybody.
not good. That's not good. But it was a learning experience. It was fun though.
Nah, that's
That's
dope,
so
though.
funny.
But there's so many good actors in that film. Kate Beckinsale's in it.
Right.
Jennifer Garner, one of her earlier films.
Yeah.
Of course, Ben and Josh, and watching those guys work was really a fun experience. Because I was a little baby actor at the time. I
Yeah,
was still
yeah,
green,
you're still
didn't know
learning,
any-
yeah.
I'm always learning, but at that point I didn't know anything.
Now-
but
now
they did
what-
have steak and lobster every day for lunch.
Every day.
Every day you had the
I
option.
love productions like that.
Was it a ribeye steak? Because I'm a ribeye guy. Is it a ribeye steak?
My eyes were so big, I don't remember what it was,
Right,
but it
right.
was good. Every single day I was like, I can get lobster? Yes. Every day, yes. Can I get a second
Oh
one?
my God, that's
Yes.
a dream.
I was like, are you kidding? I'm coming off of, working in my friend's living room where they're like, we got some Skittles, maybe.
Yeah.
If you
Some
bring them.
Doritos.
Yeah.
If you bring them, you might have, yeah.
So what do you enjoy more, working as a director, or do you also still work as an actor?
No, not as an actor at all anymore.
No more.
I have no
Full
desire.
directing.
I have no desire.
Yeah.
And I tell my actors this now, if you ever see me in something, it's because I'm doing a favor for a friend. Yeah. Which I still do from time to time. Somebody's like, hey, can you come be this in my project?
That's amazing.
As a favor, I'll go do
Yeah.
it. But which the irony of it is, I feel like I have all this knowledge that if I wanted to go back and be an actor, I have all the tools to do it. I just
Right.
don't have the desire to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So but I like the directing side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying the writing side as well. Which
So
is
how's that going for you?
It's going well. On the show, I'm the head writer that we're working on right now, which is great. And I have a co-creator who we work together, and it's a lot of fun. And just the creative process of putting all that together, it's fun. It's challenging, but it's a lot of fun.
Where did you learn how to write? Like, where did you get all the
Well, one thing that helped me out when I first got started, I was in a very fortunate place. Like I taught film, so I taught Schwarzenegger's kids. I taught Sylvester Stallone's kids.
amazing?
Oliver Stone's kid. A lot of them. But one of my students that I work with was Callie Clovis, whose dad's Steve Clovis, who writes all the Harry Potter movies. So I first started getting my first writing advice from one of the greatest writers on the planet.
Wow.
And that's kind of where I got my inspiration and really started learning how to do this stuff and really learning what storytelling is, learning the formula. Because everything is formulaic. You have to
Yeah.
understand that it's not, we don't just get there and bang out a scene and be like, there it is. It
Yeah.
follows a formula. It's a very strict formula.
Right.
And every story.
It's a secret, by the way.
It's a secret. And once you know the secret, you start
Right.
telling better stories as an actor.
Yeah.
As a director, I had to learn that. Because before I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of putting, like, I would do some stuff and some of the scenes just would play slow and I wouldn't understand it until I understood really how to make the audience connect to what happens. And when you learn how to do that, and especially as an actor, when you learn how to do that, you tell better stories. And that's why most self-tapes, everything's on self-tape now for actors, which has got to be really, really hard. But actors, they don't tell good stories. They just think I can just set up a camera and be believable and that's enough when it goes so much deeper than that.
Right.
You know, so that's what we teach.
That's what you teach. I
what we
remember
teach.
that. I remember that.
Yeah. We go deep with it too.
Yeah.
Since you are a guest here, can I know the secret? Because I have a desire to like want to write stuff. I mean, I write music. Like I'm a hip hop artist, but like when it comes, like I have ideas, but when it comes to like putting out a script, I'm just like I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
So can you tell me the secret, David Rountree, please?
Do I cover the mic?
Cover the mic.
Cover the mic. Go like this. Just kidding. Well, there's different elements of storytelling that most people don't understand, and I being an athlete, I relate to sports a lot too. One of the things that I've learned as a filmmaker is you really want the first half of anything to move quicker, have more movement in it, and it goes quicker in the back half. And the analogy I make, okay, Super Bowl just happened last weekend, right? So 2 top teams, close game. How long did those last 2 minutes last of any close game? They last forever.
Yeah.
It was like 13 minutes from the 2-minute warning till the end of the
Yeah.
game. So at that point, we're all invested. We're not going to say, all right, I'm out of here. You're going to stick around to find out what happens.
Right.
You know, if the first 2 minutes lasted 13, who would stick around?
No way.
They'd all be like, I'm going to go to the kitchen, make a snack. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to disassociate from it. I'll come back later. So storytelling is very similar. You got to understand, you got to be able to connect the audience. You got to get them hooked into what you do.
You gotta reel them in.
So it's got to go quicker and you have more movement. Once you hit the midpoint of the scene, then you start having where it slows down. We don't want to hear dialogue in the first half of a scene. If we're hearing words, we're not doing it right. We want to connect to the story. So if, as a director, if I allow my actors to take their time and really go slow on the first half of the scene, the audience is like, I'm done.
Yeah, they're
That's
already
when-
tapped out. They're
tapped
like,
out, right?
yeah.
And that's why people come in like, oh, it just started off real slow. It was
Yep.
just was real slow. Yeah,
Yep. So when we do films, we'll do like market research. So market research might be a lot of people in LA do it. So you'll get invited to go watch a pilot for a TV show or a movie of a screening of a movie or something, and you get feedback after.
Right.
Or you might sit there with a dial in your hands, and the more you like it, the more you turn to the right. The more less you like it, the more you turn to the left. All that data is analyzed. So the moments that test the worst, you know, especially on the films that I've done when I was learning how to do this stuff, are the moments I allow my actors to go slow in the first half of a scene and really take their time. Because the first half of the scene, if it was so important, it would end there. Right? It doesn't end there. It keeps going. The back half is where it really makes the connection. So in most cases, you want the back half to slow it down once the audience is hooked in because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The first half, make it move. And so ironically, the scenes that tested the worst for me are the ones, not the moments in the first half that went slow, which you would think, the back half where I needed them to connect, they would start saying, this is dumb, I'm getting bored. And the psychological analysis behind that was, well, the first half, they kept saying, this is important because they're going slow. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Oh, that, no payoff. Wait, this is important? No, no payoff. Wait, this is it? No, nothing. And then when you need them to carry on the back half, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't even like it no more.
I don't like it
Yeah.
anymore. And when my movies were in theaters, I used to go, like, we had them at AMC's in Burbank, you know, when they were across the country. I'd sit in the back of AMC. I'd buy a ticket to my own movie and walk in. I'd sit in the back.
Nice.
No one knew who I was. It didn't
Yeah.
make a difference. I've seen the movie. I'm watching the audience.
Yeah.
Right.
And you see those moments, especially when I was first learning how to do this stuff. It's like, why did that woman pick up her phone and check her text messages at that point? Why wasn't the movie captivating enough in that moment? She's like, I gotta watch and see what happens. Why did she do that? Why did she go out to get popcorn at that moment? Why did that guy feel like he could stand up and walk out in that moment? And those are the moments when you analyze and look back that I didn't do the best storytelling moments. I allowed it to go where they feel like nothing's gonna happen, so it's okay for them to turn away for a moment. And it's learning how to connect the story points to where the audience feels like, I can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. Yeah.
I'm going to miss it.
There's not that many films like that.
Right? I know. There's not. And it's understanding
There
the
isn't,
storytelling
yeah.
aspect. So in the first half, you know, if you have more movement and it keeps going,
Yeah.
it's like that. It's like a show. And so the audience is like, ooh, this is fun. It's moving. Football game, basketball game, same idea. They tell the officials, I was an athlete, they tell the officials, let them play in the first half.
Right.
Don't call a foul unless you have to. Like if it's big, then yeah, call it. But for the most part, it got so fast, the games over time, that the officials started implementing an official TV timeout just to give the advertising money to come in.
Yep.
Because the games are going so fast.
Yeah.
So sports is entertainment. They don't make sports just for athletes to get paid. They do it to make millions of dollars for the fans to come in. It's all a business.
Now, all right. On a side note, how did you feel about that holding call at the end of the Super Bowl? Because we're talking about being invested and being let. I was completely let down. I didn't even want to watch it after that call.
know.
Because you knew the game was over at that point.
I know.
It just ruined the last 2 minutes of it.
I know.
For me, it did.
I'm with you. I think that you never want the officials to hold a game in their hands.
You haven't called it all game.
I know. And then that is such it was so touchy. It was so just like, man.
Like, you telling me they haven't been doing that the whole game? They haven't been holding. This is football. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is the most physical sport there is.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, everybody's holding.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to call that when the ball was overthrown at that? He had no
few
chance to catch
seconds
it.
right there. Yeah, I know. That was tough.
Was that a business call?
It was, I don't know what it was. But
It might be. I don't know.
It killed me.
I know.
And then I saw, I was looking at SportsCenter last night, and they showed, not Travis Kelce, but his brother.
Yeah.
He's on the sideline, and he was mic'd up, and he was like, oh, the game's over. The game's over. He's walking around. The game's over.
Yeah.
Well, they got one of the best field goal kickers in the planet ever of all time.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, he missed one earlier, but the odds of him missing again.
Yeah, he was like 20 yards away.
Yeah, he's not gonna miss that.
Oh, that was so it was such a letdown for that Super Bowl because it was a really good game.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game. It was a
I'm
lot
not
of
gonna
fun.
lie. I was there for Rihanna.
I was there for Rihanna.
Team Rihanna.
I was upset that she was pregnant again. I'm like, how did
Yeah.
is that right?
That was
I
the
know, I was
announcement that
like-
she was pregnant. Yeah,
I think we all were looking. We were like, well, hold on. And you could tell that she was pregnant because she didn't really want to move her body, as
Well,
much as she normally does. So you could.
It's funny. My wife, she went off on me, right? Because when the camera first zooms in on her, or it's coming out, and she did like this, and I was like,
She did rub her belly.
Yeah, she did like something like that, and I'm like, oh, is she pregnant?
Yeah.
And my wife goes off on me. Oh, she just had a baby. You got to give her time to get her body back, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And then the show's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think and then her friends are texting her.
yeah.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, she is. I was like, going off on me.
I was saying a bunch of those things, and then it was to the point where I was getting really annoyed, annoying everyone. They were like, "Can you just be quiet? She might be pregnant or she might not." Because I'm like, "Oh no, she just had a baby." I'm like, "Oh wait, but she just rubbed her stomach. I think she's pregnant." I couldn't
was
really
announcing
enjoy
it.
it.
Yeah, she was announcing it.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I don't know how we got on that, but
We have some actors at our studio that were dancers on that show.
Really?
For Rihanna, and
Awesome.
I obviously can't do it now, but I'll ask them if they had any idea going in because they had to
Yeah.
rehearse. They had to know.
Yeah.
right.
I'm curious on that now.
I know that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them posted on Instagram after they're dancing in the in the video and
Yeah.
Dope.
being a part of the show, which had to be a great experience.
Experience, yeah.
sure.
Insane.
That's
That had
amazing.
to
That's
be
big.
Insane.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So let's get back to you directing.
Okay.
So how many features have you directed?
Directed and produced together, I've done 6 features.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's your most successful one, and like
Yeah.
how do you judge like the success of a film?
It's hard to say. So my last 2 were the ones that actually got national releases in theaters. So
Okay.
Nice.
so I think that was I had one before that had limited release, but having a big release like that I think it's rewarding. When Cut came out, Cut's a dark twisted thriller that was picked by MovieRankings.com as one of the top 5 thrillers of the year.
Wow.
So that was a big accomplishment.
What year was that?
That was in 2015.
15?
I
Okay,
think.
okay.
I think. My years blend together now.
Yeah.
I
They
know.
go by
right?
so fast.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. So
I know.
now I'm wondering what I did have for breakfast yesterday. I don't know.
Right. All right.
Same boat.
Right.
Same boat.
So that was good. The 108 Stitches was a comedy. So they're different genres. So they both had rewards in different places. I think 108 Stitches had a bigger name cast attached to it. So working on something with a bigger names was a lot of fun. In that, working with actors in both films, I actually got to work with actors that I grew up liking.
Dope.
So getting to bring in somebody that was like, oh my God, I love you in this movie. Now I'm
Right.
working with you is really a cool
A big
experience.
deal.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So do you so are your films like independent or do you work for studios? Or like,
No,
how
they're
does that work?
independent films.
Oh, independent, okay.
I do have. I mean, getting distribution for an independent film is never easy. So I was very fortunate to have that on my last several projects, which is good.
Dope.
And David, you have your own production company, right?
I do. Well, each film we start a separate production company for that film. So there's an LLC form for that film. I was with Psycho Rock Productions, which I started for a long time.
Okay.
But when I do a movie, so we have Cut the Movie is its own production company.
Right.
So 108 Stitches the movie is its own production company.
Oh,
So you get different.
somebody else told me that as well. They said every time they do a new movie, they make a new LLC.
You have to
Yeah.
because if you don't, then say
Some with the Writers Guild or something like
well,
that.
yeah, if something comes, like you have to get E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance.
Interesting.
If something doesn't pay off, then say something happens on the set of 108 Stitches. I mean, nothing fortunately happened. But if something were to happen, it's all under the same production company. Legally, the production company for everything is then liable if all your films are under that umbrella. So if something happens, then they could destroy all the films.
So you have to keep that separate.
Each one's independent.
Interesting. It's
Every
same
film.
crew, same production, and everything, but just different
You got
names.
to get a
Right.
new LLC.
Yeah.
A whole new company for it.
For every single one.
Now, do you have to
Very
keep up these LLCs? Like pay your
Yep.
taxes and
Yep.
everything every year?
Yep.
For as long as they're in?
As long as your movie exists and it's out there.
That is very informational.
It's not cheap to make a movie. you know?
No, that's
Yeah.
not cheap at all.
No. Now you could just let it go, and then
Yeah.
if you let it go, then you're just running a risk with everything. But over time, your film kind of circulates out of distribution. But now with all like the pay platforms out there, they're on Amazon, they're on Netflix, they're on I got several movies right now that are on iTunes. They're cut still at Redbox.
Yeah.
It's been there since 2015. So
Oh, okay.
as long as they're out there like that, we keep everything active. But if they were to pull away from that, then you can say, all right, we're gonna let it go for a while and not worry about it.
Interesting.
Now, do you have aspirations to do like big, like studio films or like how?
I don't know.
What's the goal there?
Maybe I like the independent side because you have more creative control on things.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, there's always 1,000 different hats in it. It's never like I directed this. It's all my vision. It doesn't work like that. There's always people that have other investments in the movie that can control certain aspects of it. So I have a lot of respect for just getting any movie done, and I'll never say, well, that director is terrible because they did that, because you don't know what they went through. An executive producer doing this, a producer doing, you just have no idea. They're all putting their say in what goes on. So
Now, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
How much say does producers and executive producers get when it's like when you're in production? Like how much say?
The executive producer has a lot to say because they're financing. You don't want what I want? Cool. I got my money. Taking my money out.
Interesting.
So they can do
they
it.
can take it out. They can
take it out.
Take it out.
They can take it out. And it's interesting because I've had some executive producers who have really done things that I think hurt the production. I've had some that really do great.
Right.
In fact, we were doing a film several years ago in pre-production, and I was taking chemistry meetings with the actors. So I was meeting these actors who were all actors you know their names. And this is back kind of when social media was really kicking off at the time, and so I was meeting these different actors, and my executive producer really wanted me to bring on people who had really big social media followings. Because as an independent film, we don't have $20 million for advertising. If you got no money for advertising, you can make the best film in the world, but if no one knows it exists, it doesn't matter. So they wanted us to bring in these actresses that had big social media. They'd be like, hey, check out my movie, which makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
So one actress who was at the same agency as others, she was a developmental artist at this one pretty big agency. And they go, hey, this actress really likes David's work. Would love for him just to meet her and just, here's her demo reel footage. Just take a look.
Yeah.
Not a lot of credit. She had one guest star on House of Cards and a couple short films, and that's it.
Yeah.
But she sent over her demo reel, and I watched it. And I watched it with my writer on this project and the casting director. She was amazing. And we're like, that's the girl.
Yeah.
She is amazing. She's so good. She's better than anybody we've seen.
Yeah.
So my executive producer says, we can't cast her. I'm like, why? She goes, she doesn't have a big enough social media presence.
What?
I'm like, she's talent-wise, she's so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
If she's not a star yet, she will be. She's so good. And she's like, nope. I couldn't even meet with her. I couldn't.
That's crazy.
And the actress, like, just even a 5-minute through Skype. This is way before Zoom came
Right,
out.
right.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I was like, okay. Fast forward 2 years later, it's Rachel Brosnahan who got Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh my
And now look at
gosh.
Rachel's, and I'm like, and so after she won her second, SAG award or Emmy or whatever she won, my writer sent me the whole email chain of the rep saying, hey, she just wants to meet you. Hey, she really is interested. And our executive producer's like, nope, absolutely not. And he said, remember this? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
I had another one, executive producer that was financing a project that
I'm sad about what I'm listening to right now.
there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. That's why I tell
Yeah.
actors, like, all you do is you do your work. You do your work and
Yes,
move on. You
yes.
have no idea why you get a part or why you don't, and you can't take
Right.
it personal.
Yeah,
It's
you
a tough
can't.
business, but if you take it personal, you're going to
Right.
destroy yourself.
Yeah.
An actress came in to read, and she was so good.
Mm-hmm.
If I said her name, you know her body of work. She's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Not an A-list, but she's up there. So when she read for us for a different film that we did, again, I turned to the other producer, and he's like,
No.
that's the one. He's like, that's
Oh,
we
he actually
want
said
her.
it.
She's
Okay.
great. After she left, we're like, that's it. The casting director's like, that's the one. The executive producer goes, sorry guys, we can't cast her. I said, why not? Like, she's amazing. Like, she's so good. She's so talented. She fits physically the part. Her chemistry with the other reader was great. She's so good. And he goes, all right guys, look, I don't even know how to tell you guys this, but about a year ago, I had an affair, and I cheated on my wife, and she shares the same first name as that actress. My wife and I have patched things up, but I can't have that name living
So it
in
was
our
a
house.
personal thing.
Right. I can't have that name. Okay, it's not Amy. Say the name was Amy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy had an affair with an Amy, so the actress was Amy. I can't have Amy. How was work today? Amy was great. Amy was awesome.
Yeah.
So we
yeah.
couldn't cast her.
Oh my gosh.
Just because
it
of
is
that.
very
I was like, wow. So my first lesson in as a director,
Yeah.
it's like there's so many people that have their hand in it when you're making something.
Yeah.
You know.
And that probably is just tenfold if you go to like a bigger studio.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not that I'd be object to directing a big studio film.
Right.
I don't have the training to do something like a Marvel film or anything like that yet, but I definitely like, getting my hands dirty in the independent world and playing with that stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I've got a really good sound team behind me too. So my post sound supervisor has done over 200 studio films, which is great. Learning from her has been amazing. She did the Goonies, Gremlins,
Wow.
Rambo, Die Hard,
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Moneyball, Return of the Jedi. Like
She's a heavy hitter.
her body of work is insane. So
Yeah.
working with her, and she likes working in the independent level because the studio is very manufactured. And it's not that it's cookie cutter, but she doesn't have the creative freedom that she has in the independent world. So she's withdrawn from studio now and is doing indie work. So I'm thrilled to work with her. So we have Solange Swalby, who's
Nice.
won Emmy also, and Vicky Sampson, both who, Vicky, I think, won the Oscar for Speed. It's sound. It's
Wow.
amazing. So working with these people all the time on
Yeah.
project, which of course elevates everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which is what I tell my actors. I want the actor to elevate the project.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the puppet master having to pull all the strings. I want to
Right.
bring an actor on who goes, I got ideas on how to tell a better story. If they have a better story than what my vision is, I'm going with them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hire them again and again and again.
Right.
That's why I bring on Alan Maldonado and David Banks and some of these guys because they make the stories better every time we use them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. It's fun. It's hard business, but fun
I mean,
business.
I'm sure it's tough, but I'm sure it's very rewarding in the end as well.
Yeah.
It is. And I learned early on that I didn't want to be sitting around having to wear a shirt and tie.
Right.
Rather wear a Pac-Man sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And my
just
daughter
be
gave me.
comfortable. I know. I was going to ask you. I love your sweatshirt.
Yeah, my daughter knows my style.
Yeah, I love it. Chloe. Shout out to Chloe.
know.
I see you on Home Economics.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Wednesday nights, 3 seasons. So she
Yeah.
plays the daughter of Topher Grace and
Okay.
Carla Souza.
Yeah.
Two of her from that 70s show, of course. And
Okay.
Carla Souza was opposite Viola Davis as one of the leads in How to Get Away with Murder. So those are her
so
parents. And Cheech
amazing.
Marin from Cheech and Chong is her grandpa.
Oh my God. I know. It's so
That's dope.
Yeah.
so amazing.
My
I'm
daughter's
so-
bilingual, so she speaks fluent Spanish too. So that really helps her role because her
Wow.
character's bilingual in the show. Her mom is Carla Souza is Mexican heritage, and Topher Grace, of course, is not.
Nice.
So being able to play both sides is is really fun. And watching her work is so fun.
Yeah.
So how does she like it? How does she like it?
She loves it.
I mean, I'm sure for a kid, it's just like you just going on set and you're just having a good time.
They are, but it's a lot of work because as kids, they have to go to school every day. So they show up at work, and the first thing they have to do, they have to go to the classroom. And they sit there, and there's 4 kids on the show.
Yeah.
They're all amazing actors. Those kids are, so you watch those kids work, they are phenomenal. They are so good.
Wow.
But they have to go to school first, and they do all their schooling, and then they can help, we need you for wardrobe real quick. They pull her out, go do wardrobe. Now go back to math. All right,
Yeah.
we need to do a walkthrough on set for blocking for camera.
It's a whole job.
They walk them over there. Then they bring them back. Okay, let's do some math again. All right, now we're going to go film a scene. Cool, now we're breaking for lunch. Now let's go back to school again. So it's a lot of back and forth, which is hard.
Yeah.
It's really demanding.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
She handles it like a champ though.
She's
Yeah.
total pro.
It's natural.
She started when she was 7. She's 11 now.
Dope.
And your wife, she also does acting classes too. She teaches at LA Acting Studios,
She
right?
did, yeah. And not anymore because when my daughter got her show, so my wife is just with her now. So she really is
She's busy.
kind of taken her acting career and pushed it aside for now.
Yeah, because I was thinking of putting Tierra in one of your acting classes.
We
with
did start
you.
our teen class again.
Okay.
So how old is she now? She's
Well, she's only 10.
Yeah, she's getting
Yeah.
there. So we have 13 and up at the moment,
Yeah.
which is run by one of our masterclass actors, Alexa Fung, who's terrific with the kids. She's
Okay.
So good.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good
we
to
used
know.
to do the younger kids too, which my wife ran, but
Yeah.
she just doesn't have time.
Yeah, she doesn't have time because she's with the baby.
So do you teach writing as well, or is it just an acting?
I used to. My schedule again is like now it's stretched so thin I don't have time. I'd like to get back to it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to have a writer's workshop and a director's workshop, but I just don't have time.
Nice.
Maybe
I was about
again.
to say I was gonna sign up for your writers. Workshop if you was gonna have it.
Well, so what we do now, we actually have some writers who are in our online class, and the
Okay.
online class, the way it works, they get a different scene every week, and they film it as a self tape. And
Okay.
then they submit the self tape, and I break down the scene story wise and say this is why all these elements exist, and then I meet with them 1-on-1 to go over their self tape, what worked, what didn't work. We have writers in that program. They just don't submit a self tape, but they sit through and they watch the story breakdown process, and and they learn that way.
Interesting.
Like, oh, I see why. Oh, I see. Oh, I get it. I understand because there are all these elements that have to be implemented in the storytelling.
Right. Right.
There's, the 5 stages of grief. There's rule of 3s. There's rule of 2s. There's the formula, putting it all together, learning how
Yeah.
that works to tell the story. And so we do have writers who are, and then we have directors who also sit in and be part of that program too. They just don't submit actor tapes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can register online, right, at LA Acting Studios?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all on there.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, David, this has been
Yes.
very eye-opening and amazing. Why does my mic keep dropping? I'm sorry.
Good.
You're sinking in the couch.
No, the mic is sinking.
Yeah. So you're going further down as it goes.
Right. I'm like, hey. But no, David, it has been a
Amazing.
pleasure having
Thank you.
here, man. It's really good.
How long have we
interview.
been talking? Because we can talk to David.
I don't know. I know it's probably going into the hour.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Hopefully it wasn't
No.
too long. Or,
No,
It was nice.
No, it was. You kept
Great
the party
conversation.
going. No,
I appreciate that. I
So
appreciate
informational.
That's dope. That's
too.
dope.
Seriously.
So, David, tell the people where they can find you. If they want to sign up for your classes, they want to follow you online.
Yes.
Where can the people find you, David?
So our studio is LA Acting Studios.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty easy. LA, Los Angeles, LAactingstudios.com.
Mm-hmm.
All the information's on there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty easy. You can get a look at kind of what we do, see pictures of some of the sets are always different every month. So you get a look at that. For me, I have a Twitter. I don't use it as much as I should.
Mm-hmm.
Probably don't get director gigs because my social media following isn't as big as it should be, but that's okay.
Isn't it crazy?
One day they're gonna be like, I should have hired him for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is it's probably true. That's the crazy part.
It might be. It really might. I don't think social media has as big of it. I mean, if you're working for a studio film, they have the advertising. It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah,
But where it really impacts is the independent world where they need the actors to also really kind of promote it.
Promote it.
Right.
So if somebody's got 2 million followers and someone has 2 followers, they're probably going to go with the bigger one just to help their own production.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
But
that's
for
just the way it
TV
goes.
shows, I don't think it matters. So actors shouldn't worry about that. If they're on an ABC show, it doesn't really matter. I
Yeah.
don't think. So, but that's me. I'm on Instagram though. There's no D in my last name. Rountree. So if you search David Rountree, it'll come up. It's like DIR director dot.
It's funny because when she first told me your name, I was like, "Is that Richard Rountree son?" Or
Funny. When
did.
when I first came out to LA, I went on back when I was acting. I went on an audition for something, and I played it up. So the guy came in. He's like, David Rountree, are you related to Richard Rountree? I'm like, yeah, he's my dad. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, I was adopted, but he picked me up, so it's cool. He spells this with a D, though.
Yeah.
He's like, are you for real? I'm like, yeah. And I played it out, too. I didn't get the part, so he never knew I was just messing with him.
Yeah.
But then my wife, Rosie Garcia, her Rosie Rountree is now her name now. She guest starred on an episode of The Closer with Richard.
Wow.
She's this little Latina girl, and she goes up and she's like, hi, Richard, I'm Rosie Rountree. And he's like, say what?
He's like, hold on.
Wait, what's this?
Yes. What a trip.
So that was kind of cool. But I was like, you got to work with Shaft. That
Yeah.
was like the OG Shaft. That's
Right.
that's huge. So
That's
that was really, really
Wow.
cool.
That's crazy.
But I'm on Instagram, which is where I get to follow you and I get to see your daughter with mad basketball skills out there.
You know,
already.
she's learning. She's getting better. This is actually her first year playing. Like she used to, you know, back in the day, like probably a few years ago, she started and she would like bounce the ball and stuff. But she was like into ballet and like dancing. You know, she was more girly. But this year she's like, I think I want to do basketball. So now she's starting to take it more serious.
She's good.
And yeah, she's developing.
She's good, yeah.
She's getting better. So
better than I ever was.
yeah, better than I ever was too. She's
Basketball's probably my all-time favorite sport, and I was okay, but I wasn't good enough to play like at the high school or higher level. And that's the one sport I wish I was better at.
Yeah.
So
And you know what, too? Like, we were just talking about it, too, about training. Like, I don't feel like it was really, like, that a thing where kids were, like, how it is now and how kids are really taking it serious. They can train. They can do, like, clinics. And I mean, I know AAU basketball was around for a long time, but not a lot of people knew about it. I didn't know about it when I played basketball, you know?
The amount of money that I've
Yeah.
spent training my son, I could have sent him to college.
oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just
sure.
for that, like, oh, you don't even need a scholarship. I didn't even know I
Yeah.
had this much money.
Right.
Before, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's
For sure.
It's insane. But just
Yeah.
like the camps,
Yeah.
the clinics, the tournaments, the travel.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. They specialize now in one thing, which could be good or could be bad.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
When I was growing up, you know, I played. It was every season, whatever was in season, I was playing.
He was playing.
Yeah.
Whether I was good at it or not, I was
Yeah.
out there playing it, which I think helped me move up, and I was able to still do all three at a higher level. I wish I was better at basketball coming in,
Yeah.
but now kids are. If you're basketball, it's basketball all day, every day, all year.
It is.
It's 24/7.
Right.
Even with baseball, same.
Totally.
It's like a big deal. You
Oh
know?
yeah,
It's like you
year-round
have to be
travel
all in.
teams and
Yeah.
it's expensive too.
Yeah. Very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
These AAU teams too, like if you're on like a national team, it's like
Oh yeah.
you're paying like over $500 a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Easily.
I was talking to one of the moms on my son's high school team, and
Yeah.
she's looking for a AAU team, and she's like, I didn't realize like you gotta
much.
put down $5,000.
Yeah.
I said put down 5.
Yeah.
She's like, you gotta
Yeah.
put down 5 racks. I'm like,
On some of them you do, and some is just kind of like you start just paying monthly. But you know, it's just it's expensive.
it's crazy.
And then like your kid has to be just so good.
Yeah, you gotta be
that you get a
realistic.
scholarship.
Yeah, you gotta
they get
be realistic,
scholarships,
like,
you know, through these.
Is he nice?
A's.
Is he
yeah.
that nice? Like,
Yeah.
Is he $5,000 put down on this
No.
team? Nice. Like,
And now things are changing too with that whole NIL stuff with college, and now kids are getting sponsored, and they're getting like
Yes.
Yeah, you have so many different.
a lot
Yes.
of things now.
And then I think there's this. I was talking to my husband about overtime.
Yeah,
Have you heard of
OTE. Yeah,
OTE?
yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
and then they now like pick up all the best kids, right, and then they pay them.
Mm-hmm.
So they start, and then if they take the pay, then they don't go. They lose their college
Eligibility.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's like it's a whole league.
It's a
Yes.
whole league.
It's
yeah.
a whole league now. It's crazy.
business.
When I was in college as an athlete, we weren't allowed to have a job. We weren't
Right.
allowed to.
Yeah.
So think about it. You have no money yourself already.
Right.
You can't work. And so
Yeah.
now these athletes are broke as it is. So it's no wonder when somebody comes on the table like, hey, man, here's $2,000 for. They're like, sure, I'll take it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So now that'll eliminate some of that stuff, but it'll also create a whole other world for
Yeah.
you know,
definitely.
recruiting and how it all. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Now I heard that rule was only for football and basketball.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think baseball too.
baseball too.
Yeah, I think so. NC State, which is where I went to school, we have a player last year, Tommy Tanks, nicknamed Tanks. He's just hit crazy home runs. After the year was up, he was our freshman NCAA Player of the Year,
Okay.
Player of the Week several times. He
Nice.
transferred to LSU because better NIL deal. And he's making more money over there now as a college player, as a sophomore.
Wow.
I don't know the logistics. I don't know the specifics of it at all, but that's
And he was a baseball player.
baseball player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What are you from North Carolina?
I am.
What part?
I grew up in Raleigh.
Okay.
But I started off in a little tiny town called Zebulon.
Zebulon.
Very small town.
Yeah.
About as small as this room.
How many people?
3?
Most
Well,
small-
if this room is around about 4 or 5.
No, very small. Very, very small town.
Yeah.
I mean, not like 10 people, but
Yeah.
it was small.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I lived there till 3rd grade. Then I moved on.
So
Nice.
You said Zebulon
Zebulon
with a Z.
with a Z.
So from Zebulon to
Raleigh,
Raleigh to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles is a little
Wow.
step. Everything comes in threes. Rule
Yeah.
of threes. So you start there and work your way up. So which is a rule of writing.
Yeah.
Everything comes in threes.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
man.
build up or build down.
Yeah.
So now I'm in LA.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It
That's
is.
awesome. Zebulon. I'm gonna look that up on the map
Do it.
when we're done with this.
Yes.
But thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow us at Beyond_Hollywood. Remember, if you are a filmmaker, I don't know if you can hear that in my mic. I hope you don't. If you are a filmmaker, you still want to submit your film to Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. You could do so at BHIFF.org. Send us your features, shorts, documentaries, web series, and any of the scripts that you have. We will be at the Regal LA Live from April 20th to the 22nd.
David, you need to be there too.
Let me know the details specifically. I'll can make
All right,
it.
if we get David there, that's going to be a treat. So
That sounds good.
If you're
I'm
available.
gonna kidnap him and keep him in the studio until April. So make sure that he's there.
Just make sure you bring some more of that popcorn.
Yeah, I'll have some
Yeah, we'll
birthday
have some
cake,
for
kettle corn, and I'll bring in some Garrett's.
And you
for
can
too.
run one of the workshops, one of the director's workshops.
That'd be
if you
cool.
can.
That sounds like a lot of fun,
Okay,
actually.
you're invited.
That'd be a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
All right, hey man, we gotta get more people here. Just put them on the spot. They don't have to say yes, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is Beyond Take Two podcast, brought to you by Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. I'm your host, Madge,
And I'm your host, Veronica.
and this is episode 6.
Six.
Hey,
Yes,
we
6.
made it to the 6th
We made
episode,
it.
everybody. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you to
you.
Mr. David Rountree for being our special guest
Thanks
today.
for having me. This is a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I appreciate
Appreciate
the invite.
Thank
It's
you,
great.
David, for joining us. And it was amazing.
Thank you so much.
So much information, so many gems.
Look this man up.
Yes.
You want to get your skills up. Look this man up. All right. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.
Beyond Take Two, take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard work and passion. Beyond Take Two, take a walk beyond Hollywood. Beyond the lights, camera, action. Is the hard